And we are most pleased to have you with us on the starting lineup as we begin the second segment. Starting lineups brought to you by Play It Again Sports in the Fremont Shopping Center. Battlefield and Fremont Springfield, great deals for you folks at Play It Again Sports. By Marshfield Chevrolet at the I-44 exit. Quick couple of left turns after you take that exit, and you're there on the north side of I-44, and you're driving right into Marshfield Chevrolet. Citizens Bank of Rogersville with two locales, one adjacent to Highland Springs and the other in Rogersville itself, and Swing Right Golf at the south end of Campbell Avenue, just a little bit north of Nixa, and that golf swing will be perfect after a visit to Swing Right Golf. I'm Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear.
And Art Hains.
Good morning, Arthur.
Morning, guys.
We're going to talk a little World Cup soccer. We told folks that we would bring Michele Boswell with her podcast, My Mom Calls It Soccer, back for kind of a recap. She's been in Kansas City either as a volunteer or a fan for, I believe, 5 matches. And of course, that run has ended now for Michele, and wanted to kind of get her thoughts on the World Cup as we hit the semifinals today and tomorrow. And Michele, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Ned and I have a major problem, more me than Ned. Ned's got lots of other problems to deal with. But that the matches today and tomorrow are at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Do we know why?
I think this is just a guess, but I think it's because worldwide, in Europe, where soccer, yes, it's happening here, but soccer or football is more popular in Europe and other parts of the world. At 2 o'clock here, I believe it will be 8 o'clock in England, 8 o'clock in. So I think that is why, we're down to when they were playing multiple games, you had them spread out through the day and we were kind of hitting all the time zones. I think now that you're to the semis, you're kind of trying to place it at a time that plays best across the world. Okay,
that makes sense. And basically, they were not thinking the U.S. would be there, to have to play in prime time. So
right.
This is best for the world. Well, you wrapped up your Kansas City journey of about a month long last Friday with the press conference day before Argentina and Switzerland. You couldn't get the media volunteer gig on Saturday right for the actual match because everybody and their brother probably wanted that last one in Arrowhead, correct?
That is correct. Yeah. So it was in high demand. And I think when I first signed up for all my shifts, I really think that I just didn't page over a page to sign up. I think if I had gotten on it immediately, but the last entry I saw was for the day before the match. So that's what I signed up for. And it ended up working out great. That game was, of course, amazing and crazy and chaotic. And for the workers who were there, so I just got back from Kansas City this morning at about 2 a.m. because we had our volunteer appreciation party last night in Kansas City at Sporting KC. And so talking to my friends on the staff who did work that game, so after the game, you probably see all the players come down the tunnel and the reporters will stand in there. The players are not required to stop and talk to you, but you can try to get them to stop and talk. And so for the folks who worked that, the players did not come down the tunnel until 1 a.m.
Oh, wow.
So they stayed in the locker room for about 2 hours after the game was over, and the reporters were just lined up waiting for everybody. So I'm a little bit thankful for that. It would have been a long night for me to then drive home.
Well, you're talking to 3 reporters here. We would have not have been very happy with that, right, Ned?
Absolutely not at all, no.
Yeah, I don't think any of the reporters were very happy with that. So
when you review everything that happened during your tenure up there at Kansas City, what sticks out in your mind? Was there something totally different that occurred that you didn't expect?
So I think just the enormity of the behind the scenes infrastructure and staffing and volunteers that it takes to pull off an event like that. 4 years ago, I watched some of the World Cup, but obviously in these 4 years, I've gotten a lot more into the sport, thanks to Chase and thanks to starting the podcast. And so every night that these games are happening, it is such a major undertaking. All of the pregame, everything that's happening, everything that has to happen to coordinate it so that you are hitting all your times, and to pull that off, every night in different cities, just the amount of people coming together and working. I think I just didn't have an appreciation for how much it would take.
Michele, who had oversight over the volunteers? Were there Kansas City volunteers, or was it FIFA itself?
It's actually a two-pronged approach. So Lori Thomas, who some of you might know, she's in the Kansas City area, and she was an AD at one of the NAIA schools up there. I apologize that I can't remember which, but also over the Heartland Conference.
She was commissioner of the Heart of America Conference.
Yes, Heart of America Conference. And so she was the Kansas City person in charge of volunteers. So she worked for the Kansas City organization, and then FIFA also had people who were over it. So it was a partnership between the two, and some volunteers were assigned to the Kansas City side, and then some volunteers were assigned to the FIFA side. I was assigned to the FIFA side. So, but we had volunteers who were working at the airport, volunteers who were working, at the hotels, all just really volunteers in every capacity that you could even imagine.
You saw a lot of different angles from this because you went as a fan with your mom and your son for one or two matches. One, I think. I
went for one, and then my mom and Chase went for two more. So they racked up three matches.
A couple questions there. Number one, was there a international fan base that really struck you as being the most passionate about the game? And I guess one of the main takeaways, did you get a feel for how important this sport is to those countries versus how not as important it is here in the United States by what you saw up there?
Yeah, so I would say all of the South American countries that I got to see play, their fan bases show up and are extremely passionate. Argentina, Ecuador, Colombia were all there in much larger numbers and extreme passion. That said, for all the other countries, Algeria, Austria, Ghana, Tunisia, Curacao, their fan bases were also extremely passionate. And it is a difference. It's almost a religion. It is just such a part of their life. And so many of these fans have grown up also playing the sport out in a field, in their backyard, in a parking lot, wherever. And so it is an extreme passion for them. And I think one of the things that we lack in the United States that these international teams that are really into it are these rivalries and these histories of games. So the Algeria-Austria game, there is beef and history that goes back to the early 80s, late 70s, where, they needed to tie. They basically, West Germany and Austria made it where they tied, which kept Algeria out of advancing. And so there is a lot of that and so much history there that we just kind of lack a rival like that I think these other countries have.
That's a very good point, Michele. And you have to understand the rivalries exist because it is the only sport in any of those countries. The only one of any significance is soccer.
Yes.
Was in your dealings with the media and the fans, was language ever a problem?
Yes. So now it was obviously dealt with well. A lot of our volunteers were bilingual, a lot Spanish speaking. We also had French speaking. So that helped a lot. And you could typically find a volunteer who could help someone. I helped one photographer who spoke Arabic, and he just immediately walked up and he had typed it into his phone in Translate, showed me what he was needing help with. So it was never a barrier that we couldn't deal with, but you did have a lot of different languages through Kansas City with the teams that we had through.
Michele, did you get a chance to see any of the activities away from the stadium, Fan Fest, the Netherlands Orange Walk, or anything like that?
I never made it to Fan Fest, but everyone I talked to said that it was phenomenal and they had so much fun. But I did get to personally participate in the Orange Parade. And that was one of the coolest things from the whole experience. We went downtown, watched the parade. When it caught up with it, we jumped in, participated, and it just such a joyous, fun event. One of the things that I will never forget from that.
One of the things that I think we all kind of forget is it was going to be expensive for somebody from Springfield to go up and watch the World Cup match in Kansas City with the ticket cost, and we're just talking about gas tank and maybe trying to find a room or going up and back. All these countries and that don't have the incomes that we do, they had to sacrifice probably half a year's income in some cases maybe to go support their country team, and I guess that shows you what you're talking about, the passion and how soccer is viewed in some of these other countries.
Absolutely. And, people were just, I think one of my biggest takeaways is that just all of these fan bases were just having the time of their life. It was very clearly a once in a lifetime kind of event and choice to come, and also seeing the interaction between competing fan bases. Everything I saw was extremely positive, extremely supportive, people trading jerseys and just, really there for the fun and the sport of it all and having a great time.
Michele, a yes or no? Have you been to Chiefs games?
Yes.
How did the fan reaction compare with Chiefs games to a soccer match?
So I think the Chiefs fans are some of the best in the NFL, right? Arrowhead is loud. It is an experience. I think the difference is, let's say you're watching Argentina play. For Chiefs games, we have the tomahawk chop, right? Mm-hmm. And that gets done a lot. I don't know how many songs Argentina sang during the game, but I can tell you every one of their fans knew every word, and it is constant. It never ends. There's never like a lull or a quiet time or people sitting down. They stand and they sing through the entirety of the game. And that was very similar. I think that is a football, soccer culture thing, because when I went to Liverpool and watched them play, when you are at a Premier League game, they are going to do that through the entirety of the game as well.
Let's ask Art Hains if he ever sang during a Bears or Chiefs game.
I did the tomahawk chalk.
Me too, Art. I've done it a lot. So.
And you kind of sing with that, with the chant.
Yes.
But, yeah. So, Michele, I think what you said about the good-natured fan interaction is really important. I mean, you don't have Steelers or Eagles fans beating up the other team's fans. I mean, it seemed like there was good camaraderie after the matches and people just enjoying interacting.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. There was, just in my experience, I didn't see anything or experience anything where there was, fighting or anything after the game. People were just joyous and happy to see their team compete. And, all of the games in Kansas City were pretty competitive. I think the biggest gap was the Argentina-Algeria game. But again, that was history making with Messi getting the hat trick. And so, it was everything I experienced about it was amazing. I had a security guard, but the last one I worked the press conference on Friday, asked me, would you do it again? Are you glad you did it? Would you do it again? And I said 100%. It was an experience of a lifetime and enjoyed everything about it.
Well, before we let you go, I know the podcast, my mom calls it Soccer. That's the name of the website as well. And on social media channels, the YouTube channel, my mom calls it Soccer. It has exploded for you. I think over 21,000 subscribers now. About this time a year ago, you're probably around 3 or 4,000. And yeah. And so, and then locally, I know that, it's probably been great for Mumbles 1888, and other establishments locally. Are you planning on going down there tomorrow and Sunday? What do you expect the atmosphere to be without the USA involved?
Yeah, we'll definitely be going today and tomorrow and Sunday. I don't know exactly what to expect, but I will say this. When I have gone for other matches that have not been the USA, they've had quite a good turnout. And so I think now that we're down, like today's game, Spain versus France, this should be an epic game. So for people, if you don't have plans and you can get out at 2 and come watch it, it'd be a great place to go watch.
And who are you picking to win the whole thing?
So all along I've said I think it's going to be France, but I hope that Spain wins today. And honestly, at this point, these 4 teams were the top 4 teams coming into the tournament. So at this point, these should all be good games, and any of them that win deserve it. So
very good. Well,
Michele, in any of your visits here in town, have you run into many or any people of nationality circumstances, like French or Portuguese or anything like that?
So I actually I volunteered with a gentleman who is French, who lives in the United States now. So we've talked a lot about France's team. And then really, like, a lot of the people I volunteered with are from South American countries.
Mm-hmm.
So a few from Colombia. Actually worked with a gentleman who is from Ghana, who flew here from Ghana to volunteer with us. He was leaving this morning to go back. FIFA did a feature on him. So
nope, I think we froze up there a second.
We did.
Yeah. I think we lost you there, Michele. Must have got a call. That's been our thing. Usually if we have a freeze up, it's because somebody called and interrupted our signal there. But, well, Michele, we're going to are you back with us?
I'm back. Sorry,
Okay,
I don't know what happened there.
You probably got a call. That happens when we're doing the streaming. If somebody calls your phone, it throws it off a little bit. But no, but you're talking about the Ghana, and the guy flew and he was going back to
Yeah. So a lot of folks from a lot of different countries, and it is fun to see their perspective and see their passion as they get to watch their own team play. If their team played it at Arrowhead and they got to be a part of it, that was super fun. Good. So one of the greatest things.
Very good. Michele, we appreciated your reports throughout this World Cup, and I think we've all learned a lot more about soccer than we ever thought we would, too, by watching it. So,
let's keep it going. So, we want to take everyone who got excited about the World Cup and help transition them in to a team to follow. And Scott, we're going to do a new team.
Yeah, I need a better one than I had, Tater Tots so who did I have? Tottingling.
You had Tottenham.
Yeah,
Tottenham. They had a little bit of a rough stretch.
And they got sent down to like A-ball, I think, or something.
They did not get relegated. They are still up, but we're going to find you a new team. So we'll do that. You can share it on air.
Very good. Thanks, Michele. Appreciate it, and have fun down at watching the matches the rest of the week.
All right. Thanks so much.
You bet.
Michele Boswell visiting with us. Timeout on the starting lineup, and back in a second. Puryear, that had to be for her and anybody else who volunteered up there locally, and you had that opportunity in Kansas City. It had to be a terrific experience.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time, and excuse my ignorance on this, which you do daily, when was the last time it was here?
1994.
1994. So
now that's the men. The women have been here since
then. Yeah, so not only do you have to wait every 4 years for the actual event, you got to wait 3 decades to bring it back. Yeah. And Art, have you been, you were a soccer fan kind of going in, weren't you, anyway?
Well, a little bit, yeah. I don't sit here on Saturday morning and watch the Premier League, but
I bet you do, and you just don't want to tell us.
You don't want to admit it, do you?
Yeah.
Well, I might a little bit now.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing, and Michele made a good point, is we don't have to just stop understanding it and following it on a worldwide basis until 4 years from now. It's kind of like the Olympics, with swimming and diving and track and field. We hear about those people and then we forget about them until it's time to, either the World Championships or the Olympics.
And the difference here with the understanding of soccer is that, and we mentioned this earlier, in the other countries, that is it. Now, they may have some pro basketball and maybe a little hockey, but we're so diversified here with the professional sports that you do have your favorite teams, and that's really tough to identify when it's only the one.
Can you imagine, Art? And I kind of touched on it with Michele, but the cost, like the guy from Ghana. I'm sure salaries in a lot of those countries aren't anywhere close to what we have here, and to fly here. I'm sure Kansas City wasn't discounting rooms during the World Cup, up there, and your ticket price, and because they probably had to buy tickets just like everybody else when they first came out, or spend an arm and a leg on the secondary market. But the sacrifice just to be able to go witness that, it's pretty mind blowing.
Well, it really is. Now, the man from Ghana might have been a doctor for all we know.
Yeah.
Regardless, tremendous financial sacrifice for these people from far countries to do all that you mentioned, and that just indicates their passion for the game.
Of course, a doctor in Ghana may make $60,000 a year too.
Well, and that's pretty good down there.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah. So,
but the fact of the matter remains: why is the passion there? Because it is the primary sport in that country, and that's where all of the allegiance goes. I understand it. I think it's an outstanding thing for world competition, but still has a ways to go here.
I think it'll be a huge bump for MLS the rest of their season.
Could be.
In terms of attendance, that people are going to be into it. Now, whether it has legs beyond this year, we'll see.
Well, and I know names that, honestly, this time last year, I had no idea who they were. I mean, Mbappe and Harry Kane and guys like that now I know they're the stars of the sport for their countries. And I know that Pulisic has been catching a lot of heat for his lack of play and things like that, so we'll be watching that to see if he's better in the...
Were you acquainted with Messi and Ronaldo and people like that?
Messi was kind of like, and Ronaldo were kind of the LeBron James and Michael Jordan in terms of, the name, kind of like Pele, back in it. You just knew who Pele was because he was the pinnacle of their game. But all these other ones, it's new to me.
Well, I've known all about Mbappe for a while. I mean, they won it in 2018. I was in France for part of that.
Oh, really?
And had a great opportunity to go with a friend to a pub and watch the match with French people. That was really cool. But, yeah, he was a star 8 years ago and still is.
Mon Dieu, go. Yeah, that's how
you were having a stroke there for a second. Hold on, time out.
No. Going back to my days in
show. Hey, Art, last night, kind of a slow night, home run derby. Did you get to tune in?
I did. We went out to dinner early, but I got to see the semifinals and finals, and so happy for Jordan Walker, man. He's my favorite Cardinal, and looked like he was beat by Schwarber, but he just kept hitting them one after the other.
We were talking about if there's an athlete on the Cardinals team or in Major League Baseball that parents can safely have their kids emulate and want to be. Jordan Walker seems to be that guy, doesn't he?
He does. And I love the interaction with his dad afterwards. Mm-hmm. His dad said, "Smooth swing. Context after me."
I thought Jack Caglione, he got a slow start, then he got going and hitting some moon shots there for a while, and just ran out of outs or ran out of swings, I guess, in this case this year. But had to be a good experience for him, and you kind of got a taste of what Royals fans think may happen for the next 5 to 10 years from him.
You bet. And he's got more of an old school swing, not really a launch angle, but he drives the ball, and with his power, it goes, as you saw with the 477-footer he hit into the upper deck.
It's funny, how guys that you expect, excuse me, to be there in the end. Like I thought Bryce Harper would be better than he was.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think, but you never know in a deal like this. And a lot of it has to do with the pitcher. I didn't really see any problem with any of them that were pitching, but sometimes, it's like coach pitch when you're 7-year-old, you got to hit bats.
Was it Contreras that his pitcher basically threw inside on him and backed him off the plate there late and kind of threw his rhythm off a little bit?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, the other one I was
almost
thinking,
hit him.
Yeah, Ned, that I thought would be better, but it was his first time was Ben Rice, the Yankees.
Well, it's first time.
Yeah,
first time, and you're there before 44,000 fans, most of whom, they're anti-Yankees, I would think, number one.
They're anti-everybody but Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is it. It is. But the fact of the matter remains, that's got to be a tremendous circumstance for them, one that you cherish, but one in which you probably have a few anxious moments.
Art, didn't that kind of make, and I know Ned's going to take offense to it, we talked about it, he's okay, but didn't it make it a little sweeter the way that Walker kind of shut up the Philly fans a little bit there?
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
they were booing Contreras on every home run and cheering every fly out that didn't get out and everything. And Ned says they're really good people. They're
you guys, you have to be there to understand it, and you have to be.
He's getting mad now.
Quiet. Shut up and let me say something. The fact is that they're very passionate about their teams. They want them to win because they haven't. And they don't have a history of winning there. And the passion is so there, so much so, that it manifests itself in such behavior, like it or not, with the crowds. Jordan Walker was super. When he did the fans mob, he said, yeah, they're cheering for their team. That's exactly what you want. Great statement from him. Great.
It's probably, though, the first time in the home run derbies I've watched where they were literally booing throughout if they had a local guy. Now, if Schwarber's not in there in the semis and finals, they probably don't care as much. They're there for the show.
Probably not. No.
But when it's Schwarber and that's their boy, they came out of the woodwork. And you know what? I kind of gained a new level of respect for him because all the stuff that, I don't know if it was Rizzo or Hunter Pence, or it may have been Hunter Pence talking about what kind of a guy Schwarber is in the community up there. Always given to the charitable causes of his time and his money, and just sounds like he's a really good.
And
really good
also,
dude.
when it came time for him to make some key decisions, he said, "Nope, I'm here. This is where I belong."
Yeah.
In 2011 or 12, whichever year it was, last in Kansas City, we booed Robinson Cano because he was the captain and he'd left Billy Butler off the home run team. So Cano got booed every time he came up.
Yeah, and of course, anybody in pinstripes is pretty much going to get booed, aren't they, in any
true.
stadium? Yeah, so, hey, we got a caller trying to get in. Caller, if you'll wait till after the next segment, we promise we'll get you on. But we've got T-Bear with his usual spot coming up after the break.
We will take a quick timeout on the starting lineup and back talking racing in a second. And the starting lineup is brought to you by Play It Again Sports, by Swing Right Golf, by Citizens Bank of Rogersville, and by Marshfield Chevrolet. I'm Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear.
And Art Hains.
And on the line with us in his usual Tuesday morning spot around 8:30, we welcome in our auto racing correspondent, guru, whatever you want to call Trenton Berry. We call him T-Bear. T-Bear, good morning.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing great. You're on the road. You're up in North Missouri, headed to Iowa for a rare Tuesday night racing program. Can you kind of talk us about that?
Yeah, so this is the first of 6 nights. We got a lot of racing to do this week. So our Northern Lights Modified Series, which is similar to like what our Heartland Modified Tour is, it races around home, races up in Iowa, Minnesota, a little bit in Wisconsin. And so we have a Tuesday night race. That series raced on Saturday, Sunday. They were off last night, and they raced tonight. They're at the Winneshiek County Raceway in Decorah, Iowa. It's a really cool kind of a river bluff town up in northeast Iowa. You know, you think about like flat farm ground for Iowa, and this is anything but that. The northeast corner of Iowa is very scenic and kind of rugged terrain. It's beautiful country. They love their racing there. They love their dirt modifieds, dirt late models, stock cars, all sorts of things there in Decorah. So tickled to do this tonight. It's their county fair tonight, so it's where our series is the headline grandstand attraction, and it's something I really love. You know, we don't have just a ton of county fairs, and I know there's a few around the Ozarks still, but Iowa really still embraces that county fair. Home, small town, rural America, pride in your community, heavy agriculture based events, and we race at a few fairs throughout the course of the year. We've got a really cool one tonight at a great racetrack. So I'm just tickled to be there. It's the first time the series is raced there. They've got a good promoter, and we had to be rolling this whole week racing as well. I got to be in Jefferson, South Dakota, which is up by Sioux City, Iowa, in 2 days. So I thought I might as well hit this one before we get started with our USMTS run, which is 5 straight one-night shows this week. So that's a little bit of my rundown. I'm in the Mickey D's parking lot in Kingdom City, Missouri right now, live and in living color.
Trenton, what would you expect would be a capacity crowd up there?
You know what? I would say probably, and they're going to be at it tonight. Right in the ballpark of 2,000 tickets. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they'll be right at it. They've got a cool old covered grandstand, and they'll be, I use the term swinging from the rafters. Well, they've got some rafters in this one, and I expect they'll probably be hanging off the rafters tonight to take this one in. Okay. I got a lot of high expectations for tonight. It should be a great show. We got a good field of cars coming to race too.
Arthur?
different tracks in 6 days. Is that it?
Yep, and that's 6 setups, 6 teardowns, 6 hotel rooms.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the one. I get a lot of people. Hey, boy, man, your career must be nice. Must be nice. And I promise you guys, I'm not complaining one bit. But this is the week here that you definitely. You separate the people that go to races for fun versus the people that are really the man in the arena, really digging. And I got a great crew. I got my boy Josh right here. He's beside me in the truck, and he got up and left his house at Fairgrove at 4:30 this morning so we could get on the road. And he's going to be part of the crew that's gone all week, just like he is every weekend with us. And man, I got a great group. It's a great group of people that help make this thing happen. And we're all leaving from different parts today, and some of us going to get together tonight, and we're going to join the rest of them tomorrow.
Trenton,
Josh meet at the Bullseye in Preston?
Man, so I got this worked out even just a smidge better. I just got him coming to my house. He just comes right to the house, and so when we go south, I pick him up at his house right in Fairgrove, and he came right to the house this morning.
Trenton had a special night or weekend up at Lucas Oil with a local guy winning both the feature races Friday and Saturday nights. Dillon McCowen, he's an Urbana boy. Glad to see Urbana represent there at Lucas Oil. Kind of talk about your history with him. And I was telling Ned, and we had him on yesterday. He was great. But yesterday, as I was watching social media a little bit, I saw the track interview with him, and he was so emotional and so happy. And the fans, they were on their feet. They were cheering every time he talked, every time he mentioned. What was that moment like for him? And kind of tell us your history with him and that family.
Yep, I know him very well. Been to the race shop more times than I care to count. Just good people, great family. They're in agriculture. They farm a lot of ground, and Dillon's dad Charlie is he's a fiber contractor as well, and they've got a very very successful operation for many years, and he employs a lot of great people from around the Ozarks and has crews that work all over the country, and just tickled to death for him, man. I remember his very first years racing. I think he would have been, 13, 14 years old. He became a 2-time modified track champion there at the racetrack at Lucas Oil. Had raced all over the country in a B mod and then a modified. Made the progression to dirt late models and realized that was a totally different world. Has taken his share of lumps to get where he's at today. And he's not one of the ones that just dropped in to run there, which you certainly can do at any of these races. If your car passes tech, you can sign in, pay your entry fee, and race. But he's actually racing 4 points as a rookie on that Lucas Oil Late Model Tour. So there's 2 national dirt late model tours, the Lucas Oil Late Model Series and the World of Outlaws. And he just needed to pick one of them, and for him, it made the most sense to go with that one, just because he has some familiarity to dirt, and honestly, he has multiple point shows at his home racetrack. So that's going to help you through the course of a season, taking on a national schedule. I mean, he's raced at Delaware this year already. He's been to Florida. They've raced in Pennsylvania. They are logging some miles to get some experience, and he's raced all over the Midwest, all through Illinois, Missouri, the Upper Midwest, the South, and well, it was just kind of the culmination of his career to this point. His grandpa owned race cars for several years, and his grandpa passed away. Unfortunately, wasn't there to see that. His grandpa did see his first ever late model race. I was there for that one as well. Probably, I'm trying to think back. Probably 3 to 4 years ago was the first time he sat in a dirt late model, and that was kind of his grandpa's wish, was to see his grandson do that. Boy, he's sure proud of what Dillon would have accomplished and what he would go on to become.
We know what happens confidence-wise in ball sports. A guy gets a win, and all of a sudden that catapults him into a different level. In auto racing, when a kid has back-to-back wins on a Friday and Saturday night in very competitive races, does that kind of trigger a new level of expectation now for Dillon going forward?
Well, it does. So it's driver's confidence, but also the race car's right too, and we'll find out. They race in Corning, Iowa tonight, the Lucas Oil Series. runs tonight as well at the Adams County Speedway on a racetrack that's black dirt. It's a half mile, completely different than what he raced on this weekend. So, we get a chance to see what carries over, a place he doesn't have just a million laps on. But yes, confidence is very, very much. I mean, we saw that early in the year. I was talking to you guys a lot about, we were talking about Tyler Reddick a lot and the NASCAR side of things. And man, you get that momentum rolling sometimes, and those guys feel like Superman behind the wheel. I've talked to a few of them, and they just say, hey man, when we're on and we're set on go, like they know that it's going to take something out of their control to take the win away from them. So, I don't know what Dillon's confidence level is, but it's got to be feeling pretty good to beat him today. And I expect he'll probably have a good run tonight as well. But what a feather in his cap, man. So just to give a little Missouri and Ozarks perspective on how rare that is.
Tell you what,
1999. In 1999, Terry Phillips won the Show Me 100 at West Plains. In 2013, Terry Phillips won the Topless 100 in Batesville, Arkansas. And it was 2020. Oh, I think it was 2021. Peyton Looney won the Show Me 100 at Lucas Oil Speedway. And to my knowledge, and somebody out there correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I feel like those are the only, short of LP back when he was there about 30 years ago, was racing. LP won a few. But those are the only guys that have ever won national dirt late model touring events from the area ever, like in the history of auto racing. So, man, he put his name in some rare company. I mean, we've had so many guys over the years that have tried to win there and win those biggest shows at Wheatland, West Plains prior to that, I-44, Monette. Those places have held different races of that caliber over the years, and it's so rare to find that success. And man, to do it twice it's almost unheard of.
Talked about his dedication to racing, and I think it became evident to us. He talked about being a NASCAR fan and all that, and I said, well, yeah. Did you stay up late Sunday night to see the race that ended at 1 a.m. our time? He said, I was working in my racing shop at that time. That tells it all right there.
Yeah, for sure, because, no chance to really rest on his laurels, because that Tuesday race that they're going to have to be at tonight, that's probably about 6 hours, down the road where they're going to have to be, and he's going to have 2 race cars. Since he's points racing, he's going to have 2 race cars completely prepped and race ready. If he rolls out tonight and tears up in hot laps, he's going to have to roll the backup car out for qualifying or whatever at any point tonight if he has trouble. So, the workload's just magnified that much more because he's racing for points within that series. So, yeah, it takes dedication, crazy dedication, to operate at the level that Dillon's operating at for sure.
Arthur?
Trenton, you took me up to Lucas Oil, I think the night after Peyton Looney had won the 100. That was a fun evening. You really showed me the place, and that was a lot of fun. But I know Peyton and his granddad were still celebrating the next day.
Yeah, they were, and it's a heck of an accomplishment to be able to do that. And we've had a lot of great racers, and some other things come to mind. Like there's a one, he doesn't race as much now, but Jesse Stovall that lives in Billings, man, he was so good at Wheatland for so many years, and he came so close. Multiple top 5 runs in those races, and you just kind of wonder, is this going to be it? Will Vaught, who's not really even racing anymore, his boys racing a little bit. He ran top 10 in ARCA races and was unbelievable in a dirt late model. And just a host of other guys have won, big time regional races too. But to take that next step, to win a World of Outlaws race or to win a Lucas Oil race, dude, it's rare air. I think they said this weekend it was the 900. Gosh, and Dillon's dad Charlie told me this a couple of days ago. I think it was the 974th and 5th features completed this weekend. There's only 2 times that a driver has had his first win and backed it up the next night. And so Dillon, along with another driver named Jonathan Davenport, that dirt racing fans are going to know he's a household name in the sport, are the only 2 within that series to ever accomplish that too. So what a great feat. That series has been around about 20 over just a shade over 20 years now.
T-Bear, let's switch gears and go to NASCAR, the Cup Series. Ryan Blaney wins at Echo Park Speedway, the Quaker State 400, in a race that finished, what'd you say, Ned, after 1 a.m.?
1 a.m., yeah. Rain delay.
When you're at that level with NASCAR, is it kind of hey, we're going to get this in somehow type of deal, especially after they've already started?
Yeah, once they saw there was a break in the weather and then that the rain was going to stop. If not, they would have raced it Monday. They would have probably started mid-morning, early afternoon on a Monday race, which is kind of their standard protocol. But, yeah, they'll try to race at all costs if they can find a break in the weather, and clearly they did. They were down just a shade over 3 hours on the race, and so I, for one, like the Sunday races. It really works with my schedule. They've went to these Sunday evening races because of the TV partners. It's kind of the television demands. They've kind of went away from Saturday night racing with the Cup Series, which I think is great because that should be reserved for short tracks anyway, either dirt or asphalt. So I like that change has happened. But boy, it does make for some late nights if you start the race late and in the day and then have a rain delay. But they just needed to get it in. It was a good one too, man. It was really good. I was fighting back trying to stay awake. I eventually turned it on in the bedroom, and I nodded off right at the end. And I woke back up for victory lane and caught some of the highlights yesterday right in the closing laps. But, man, it was a great race. That track at Atlanta, it continues to deliver every single time. They had two really good ones there this year. It was a racetrack that was kind of in question a few years ago as to, hey, is this thing going to stay relevant? And they were having a hard time selling some tickets, and that all kind of seems to have went by the wayside, which is wonderful.
Yeah, this week over in Carolina, kind of talk about this track has been dormant for an actual regular stop, but back to live action. It's a smaller venue too, as well, right?
It is. So this is one of the Blue Blood Dynasty racetracks, the history of NASCAR. They brought it back. They got a little public funding to kind of help renovate that a couple of years ago. It's owned by Speedway Motorsports now. That place was in shambles. I mean, there's videos, YouTube bloggers that did all sorts of walkthroughs of the place when it was just dilapidated and not racing. But they've restored a lot of it back to its former glory. It's hosted all-star races. Cool to see it on the Cup schedule. This is going to be another high horsepower. This is going to be a 750 horsepower race, low downforce. So this is NASCAR's best rule package for these cars that's going to take place this weekend. Should be outstanding. I mean, this is a North Carolina tried and true, old school moonshine running, hillbillies and rednecks and everything in between. I mean, this is absolutely the roots of NASCAR where they're headed this weekend, and I think it's fantastic that they've got a show there.
Very good. Yeah, T-Bear will let you get back on the road, headed up to Iowa. Quick question, how many miles a year do you put on your truck?
So this one's a 24, and I'm just going to look down at the odometer right now, and it shows 64,151 and a half miles as we sit here. I average roughly 25, 30,000 miles, something like that.
Wow. All righty. Well, hey, safe travels, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right, guys. See you. Appreciate the time as always, all of you. I hope all three of you have a great week.
Thank you. You too.
Trenton. Thanks.
Trenton Berry visiting with us. Starting lineup. We'll return in just a second. You're home for the St. Louis Cardinals as well, and the Cardinals will resume their action on Friday night out in Phoenix, Arizona against the Arizona Diamondbacks. We are in the stretch run of our show. Nice visit with Trenton. He's on his way to Decorah, Iowa, and racing at the fair up there in the northeastern part of the state. So indeed, we got a lot of good feeling about the racing circumstance. Do we have some text there?
Yeah, we do. Let's get caught up on the text line again, 417-447-1021, text line and the phone line as well. Texter says, let's not forget the Philly fans booed the kids shagging balls when they didn't catch the ball in the outfield. Who boos children? Defend that one, Ned.
Well, come on, people.
Yeah, it's okay to boo kids that are not catching the fly balls?
It is not okay to – no, it's not okay to do that, but these are people who are there having fun. Come on. Then the booing is good-natured.
Another texter says there are very, very rich people all over the world who have the opportunity to follow their team for months at a time. Then there are the individuals like your tennis traveler from Jeff City who managed to travel throughout Europe during the summer. Don't know what that means, but...
You're making reference to the doctor or whomever it was from Ghana who came up.
Oh, okay. And then ask Ned if he remembers Bud McKee, Springfield Fairgrounds Speedway.
Of course. He was one of the racers when I was the track announcer out there, yes.
Exactly. So, Art, will you be tuning in 2 o'clock today, Spain and France?
Absolutely. I think that's the championship match, and should be a good one. I've been thinking all along, well, you can't score on Spain, so you can't beat them. But Belgium, or whoever it was, did put one goal past them the last match, and I think France is just too good.
Yeah, I think Spain's given up one goal in 6 matches in the World
That's
Cup,
correct.
and then you've got France that's a machine. So it's kind of the ultimate clash between offense and defense, is it not?
I'd say so.
Yeah. And then tomorrow, we'll talk more about it then, but England, Argentina, who do you like there?
Well, I think Argentina, I'd love to see either one of them win it. England hadn't won it since 1966. And, Argentina with Messi, they're such a fun team to watch. So I'm torn on that one, but I suspect... Nope. I'm going to go with England on upset.
Art, so am I. The Argentinian team has been very fortunate during this whole tournament. They've come from behind a couple of times. In fact, they were way behind in one of them and came back to win, which is testimony to their skill. But by the same token, they've been living on the edge.
And are we setting ourselves up here for a repeat of the NBA situation where you had Spurs Thunder in a conference final and everybody thought that was the championship, and then the Knicks come in and win in 5? I wonder if that England-Argentina match is saying, okay, go ahead and think the other one's the title match because we'll be here waiting, so we'll see.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It would be. It's also fitting testimony to the fact that these top 4 teams are there in the championship, and they are arguably the best in the world. Okay, gang, we are out of time. Great having you with us today. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear.
Art Hains.
And indeed, we plan on seeing you tomorrow right here on the starting lineup.
See ya.